Can I get a quick show of hands if you've checked a social media notification within the last hour? Take a look around the room, everyone, and just notice how many hands are actually raised. I want you to keep that reflex in mind, that instant hand shoot up. Just remember that. Now, fast forward 15 years, you're running a client meeting, and your best account manager just missed the number your team needed because she was mid comeback on a comment on a post she found during lunch. This isn't a hypothetical, but for most working adults, this is Tuesday. There was a study found that 72% of American adults use at least one social media platform, and they're spending close to 2 hours a day on it. That was found in 2022. So just imagine what it's at now. That was found in the Journal of Medical Internet Research. A growing share of this time is bleeding straight into the workday and that you're about to inherit. And here's why that's not your problem and not just mine, but everyone's. Every person in this room is either already managing people or you will be within the next few years. The anxiety, the communication breakdowns, and the lost productivity that unmanaged social media use creates, they aren't going to land on someone else's desk. They're going straight to yours, and you don't even realize it yet, as a cost to your culture, your team, and your bottom line. I spent the last several weeks inside um, research facilities, online psychology journals, public health journals, information technology journals, all the journals, because I didn't want to hand you an opinion or something I believe. I know this. I wanted to hand you something that actually works. So here's my pitch: invest in a structured digital wellness program for your future workplace. It's the most direct way to protect your employees' mental health, rebuild communication skills modern work depends on, and recover the productivity that unmanaged social media use is quietly draining away. I'm going to show you three things. One is how unmanaged social media fuels anxiety that follows people to work. Two, how it erodes face to face skills teams need. And three, how a digital wellness program reverses both and pays for itself. Let's start with what's happening inside your future employees' heads before they even sit down at their desk. Here's the first thing worth knowing. The problem isn't the screen time, say. It's what's happening when you're on the screen, when you're on the phone. A team of researchers built something called the Swedish Social Anxiety Scale for social media users. And what they found even surprised them. Social anxiety doesn't track with how many hours someone spends online. It's not about the numbers, but it's about the specific behaviors you use when you're on it. Worrying how a post will be received by others, comparing your life to others, highlight reels online. That's what's bad. This was found in a study by Erlichson and colleagues in 2020. It's not about the clock, it's about the comparison. What that tells us is that the constant self assessment these platforms are built around and not the time spent is what's driving the anxiety up. That mental state doesn't clock out at 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, or 6. Left unmanaged, employees carry the same comparison driven anxiety straight into meetings, into performance reviews, into everyday conversations with their team. And without any structures in place, they have no built in moment to notice it or interrupt it before it starts shaping how they show up at work. Anxiety doesn't just sit quietly in the background, though. It actively changes how people talk to each other, or whether they honestly even talk to each other at all. That brings me to my second point. It's not something you're born with or you have or you don't. Communication is a skill. And like any skill, it's built through practice. If anything, that's what we've learned this year in this class. The problem is, though, that social media is quietly replacing the practice. Reading someone's tone, body language, and their timing, that takes repeated face to face reps. But when comments and text substitute for real conversations, that practice just gets delayed. And text doesn't carry the sarcasm tone or nuance that a real conversation can, which means the odds of a simple misunderstanding turning into an actual workplace conflict go up. That's just not an interpersonal problem, it's a leadership problem. Teams that default to messaging over talking lose the moments where trust actually gets built, where feedback lands, and where problems get solved fast. And if this goes unaddressed, this is the skill gap the next generation of people you want to hire is going to walk through the door with. So here's where we are now: rising anxiety, eroding communication, both measurable and they're both costly. This is where I ask you to invest in a fix that's already been tested. That's the best part. It works and it's been proven. This isn't a hunch I have or something I dreamt of. Digital wellness programs are a growing evidence backed field, and a 2025 meta review looked at employer provided digital wellness programs across dozens of studies, and they found real, measurable promises for mental well being and for behavior change over job performance. The same body of research that identified that also identified that social media overload is a driver of workplace stress and performance and lost performance. It points directly at structured limits and support as the fix. So, what does the investment actually look like? Clear workplace social media guidelines, protected focus blocks, short communication skill workshops that can rebuild face to face habits like we just talked about people that are losing. Here's a cost comparison. And I'm saying that because it's worth the money. A research found that the cost of replacing a single employee is about one half to two times their annual salary. A program built to catch burnout and communication breakdown early costs a fraction of that. It turns unplug from a vague suggestion into a structured supported habit. Now, I probably know what some of you guys are thinking. Won't employees resent being told to put their phones away? You got the wrong picture. Where this isn't a monitoring policy, it's a protected time policy, say. The same logic behind a lunch break or even a vacation day. You're not policing anyone's feed, you're giving people permission to focus in a way. So here's my ask. Here's what I want. Unmanaged social media use is costing your future workplace in anxiety, in communication, and in performance. And a structured digital wellness program is the direct evidence backed investment that reverses all three. We covered how comparison driven anxiety follows employees to work, how screen time is quietly replacing the practice communication skills required, and how digital wellness programs are already showing real results in these exact areas. Every one of you is going to build or manage a team at some point later in your life. When you do, don't wait for a burnout case or a communication breakdown to force the conversation. Try picking one thing: a 90-day pilot program, a single wellness workshop, one written social media guideline for your team. Start there. Back it the same way you'd back any other benefit that protects your people and your bottom line. The choice was never between having social media in the workplace and not having it. I think we can all agree that that ship sailed long time ago. The choice is whether you manage it or let it manage your team and your productivity in the workplace. I'm asking you to invest in the first option. Thank you.